We're Brandon and Alyssa. We just spent 100 days living in our 2014 Toyota Prius. We traveled over 14,000 miles from San Diego to Canada to New York.
We visited 17 states and provinces, 11 national parks, got in 2 car accidents, ate and drank some amazing food, and saw 7 bears. And we did it all with a budget of $82 a day. In this video, we're going to briefly show how we converted our Prius for under $400 and answer some of your most asked questions from YouTube and Instagram. We'll tell you every penny we spent and if we managed to stay on budget.
If you clicked on this video just for the budget, fast forward to 8 minutes and 55 seconds.
When deciding how to set up the Prius, we knew we needed it to be easy. Neither of us are very handy, and we knew at the end of our trip, we would want to sell it or use it as a car again, so we didn't want to do anything permanent to the vehicle. We knew being comfortable while sleeping would keep us out of hotels on this road trip. So Brandon bought a $160 mattress from Amazon. We had no idea how comfortable it would actually be. We used Brandon's mom's turkey cutter. Yeah, the old school one she uses at Thanksgiving. And we started hacking into it. It ended up fitting perfectly. We cut it into thirds and it folded directly on top of each other, so we didn't even have to take the seats out. We needed something to prop up the head of the mattress behind the seats, so we got these 2 coolers and some Tupperware. It ended up working amazing. We didn't change anything the entire trip.
For storage, we had to get creative. The Prius is small and we knew we didn't want a roof rack or tailgate, so everything had to fit inside the car. We had a food Tupperware and a kitchen Tupperware that fit nicely on the dashboard when we needed to sleep. For clothing, we used pillowcases. These were easy to move around and held so much. They could also be used as a pillow in a pinch. The Prius also has a handy little storage area in the trunk, which fit the rest of our clothes.
We made window shades from dollar store poster boards we cut out to fit and fold. This was just trial and error, but they kept the light out and gave us some privacy while sleeping. These bug screens were great for the hot nights. They fit over the windows like a sock and gave us a bit more security knowing someone can't just reach their hand in. It also let a good amount of air in so we could get a nice breeze. We had a Coleman camping stove, which we didn't use as many times as I thought we would, but it did come in handy when we wanted a hot meal in the woods. These Velcro roof hammocks were like our nightstands. They held our glasses and phones so they wouldn't get lost in the bed. All of these things were pretty inexpensive and worked great for us. We spent about $400 for everything we needed to get us sleeping and living comfortably. Check out our full Prius tour video where we go much more into detail about everything.
We are not small people, and I can't explain how we had so much room, but it was really comfortable. Alyssa is 5'8" and I'm 6'3", and we fit so well. We ate in the back, we slept so comfortably, we watched movies, drank beers, there was plenty of room. We left San Diego on July 4th with no idea how far we'd get. Our original goal was Banff, and if we made it to Banff, the trip would have been a success. When we left San Diego, all we knew was we had a flight to London booked, so somehow we needed to get to New York by October. The rest, we just kind of made up as we went. The route we took made no sense at all. We just went wherever we wanted to go that day and chased good weather.
I loved every part of this trip, but I think my favorite memories are in California. Honestly, we could have spent all 100 days in California. It just has the most to see and do. Beach, mountains, snow, desert, so many cultures, and so much food. There's just no way to get bored in California. But my favorite spot was definitely Lassen. It's such an underrated national park, and I was so proud of us for how much we saw and that we hiked to the top of Lassen Peak. We jumped in Lake Helen. Oh, and we also saw a bear, so immediately that makes it to the top of the list.
California was awesome, but I was equally surprised by the Pacific Northwest. Oregon had so many waterfalls, and Crater Lake was way cooler than I expected. Also, Mount Rainier was breathtaking.
The hardest part about living in the car is moving so much. Because we wanted to see everything, we moved every day. We have previously lived in an RV, but this is completely different. Having to pack up everything and put everything away every single morning was so hard. It took us like 45 minutes the first few weeks.
The hardest thing for me was probably setting up stealthy. In the early days, we had to pull stuff out and put it on the ground or on the roof. We made a total scene.
The easiest thing is similar to the hardest thing. It's the freedom of moving. Like if you don't like a place, you can just drive away.
With the low cost of gas in a hybrid, we didn't think twice about moving often. For example, we got to Mount Shasta with every intent on camping there, but it was 113 degrees, so we decided to drive 4 hours to the coast, and you just can't do that flying or in an RV that takes up so much gas.
The most important thing and the one thing that I could not live without is definitely the mattress. We got some of our best night's sleep in the Prius.
You're forgetting about the bug nets. Alyssa is deathly allergic to mosquito bites, and these things saved us. They also added a bit of privacy at campgrounds. We could have done with nothing else had we had a comfortable mattress and some bug screens.
Something we never had to use was the first aid kit. Brandon didn't even know we had a first aid kit until we sold the car.
The beach umbrella. Actually, all the umbrellas. The beach umbrella we used in Lassen just to use it, but it was more of a hassle than it was worth, that's for sure. It kept blowing away and really wasn't necessary. We had 2 regular rain umbrellas too that we never touched. Alyssa used one hiking Mount Lassen, but we got lucky and had hardly any rain the entire trip.
Something I miss most about living in a house, this one's so hard because there's so many things that you take for granted in a house, like running water or a flushing toilet. But honestly, I miss having a jacuzzi. We've lived in apartments with jacuzzis our whole lives, so after some of those crazy hikes, it would have been so nice to jump in a warm jacuzzi at the end of the day and just relax.
I just really miss having a couch or a place to chill out that's not in a bed, in the front seat, or outside with bugs.
We didn't really camp that much, actually campground camp. Cooking food outside, building a fire, any of that camping stuff. We love to climb a mountain, but Brandon has always said that we're hikers, not campers. And this trip really kind of cemented that for us.
Alyssa and I love to cook, but it was so hard to cook in the Prius. I thought we would use our little stove so much more, but doing dishes is hard. There's bugs, it's dirty. We ate a lot of cold food and we went out to eat more than we thought we would. It's also hard just keeping your food in coolers with ice. We wasted more food buying groceries, so eating out was easier and more budget friendly.
Are we ever afraid? I would say no. Sleeping on random streets and rest stops, you just need to be aware of your surroundings. If it looks shady, move on. Also, we don't really own anything that we can't part with, and we have very little money on us ever. So I would say no. I wasn't scared. We didn't have any issues the whole trip.
I was honestly only really scared of bears. If you saw the Sequoia video with the campground banging pots and pans, mix that with us literally sleeping on top of our food coolers with the back hatch open, yeah, I had some bear nightmares.
Speaking of bears, we saw so many bears. Luckily, none of them were ever at our campground. It was so amazing. We saw one in Sequoia, one in Lassen, and a family of bears on the Sea to Sky Highway. Every time was just as magical and shocking and impressive as the last. Neither of us had ever seen a bear in the wild before, and I'll never get over seeing a bear in real life, especially just crossing in front of our car on the highway. So unexpected.
I wanted to talk quickly about cell service. We have AT&T, and Canada has the most amazing cell service. We had more bars everywhere in Canada than we ever did in the US. Oh yeah, and Planet Fitness was our best friend. It was so easy to find a Planet Fitness. They are literally everywhere. We love the accessibility of Planet Fitness, and their shower facilities are always so great. The Black membership at Planet Fitness is only about $20, and it allows you and a guest to go. If you're ever doing something where you're traveling across the country or in Canada, definitely pick up a Planet Fitness membership. You have a mattress, some bug screens, a Planet Fitness membership, and a Prius, bam, you're living in your car traveling across North America.
People always ask how we use the bathroom. It's the same as you would on a road trip. We stop at McDonald's, at rest stops, we use porta potties. It's not as big of a challenge as people think. Okay, the number one question we get asked from everyone: how much did it cost?
Before we jump into budget, be sure to subscribe. I can promise you won't want to miss the next 100 days of adventure.
We saved $30,000 working as bartenders in San Diego. Our intent was to travel for a year around the world. That means that we would have $82 a day to spend. Let's break it down.
The Prius gets about 43 miles per gallon, and we traveled 14,000 miles, so cheap gas was something we were always on the hunt for. We used the Gas Buddy app to help find cheap gas anywhere we were traveling. The most expensive we paid was in California leaving Sequoia National Park, $5.44 a gallon, and the cheapest was Bristol, Connecticut, and we only paid $2.83 for a gallon of gas there. We stopped at a total of 48 gas stations, and all told, spent just under $1,300. We love food, so this was a big spending category for us. We also love ourselves some cheap beer, so we included drinks with meals in this category. We called it eating out. We spent about $44 a day for 2 people, including alcohol. I'd say that's pretty good. We share food and we never do 2 of the same things, so we can get a larger variety and more options. Total spent eating out was $4,423.
While we're on the subject of food, let's mention our top 3 favorite foods. Coming in at number 3 for me is the artichoke bread from Pescadero, California. It is stuffed with artichokes from the farms there, and it is so amazing. My second favorite is spicy poke that we had at a Seattle Asian market. There was chunks of jalapenos and habaneros, and it was the spiciest poke I have ever eaten. And my number 1 favorite food, I think of all time in the entire world, is biang biang noodles from New York. We've gone to this place before the road trip, so I knew we had to stop before we made our flight to Europe, and it's just as good as I remember. It's the spicy cumin lamb noodles. I would give anything to be eating those right now.
I had never had any nari before, and we hit up a spot in Vancouver that specialized in them. It's like a sushi snack wrapped in tofu and topped with delicious proteins. The suicide wings at Gabriel's Gate in Buffalo, New York literally blew my mind. Wings are probably one of my favorite foods, and it turns out that they really are better in Buffalo. The best eating experience I had was at the Reel 'Em in Portland, Oregon. This little dive bar serves the most incredible fried chicken and these potato wedges that they call JoJo's. The groceries category includes any food and drinks we bought for the coolers and camping. Most frequently, we would buy lunch meats, veggies, hummus, Bud Light, bottled water, ice. I'm a budget grocery shopping master, so keeping this category low was pretty easy for us. We typically bought groceries at Grocery Outlet or Walmart, and we always look for sales. We spent a total of $1,218 on groceries. As we mentioned before, we spent almost all 100 days sleeping in our car, limiting the need for hotels. We spent a few nights at Disney World, but our friends covered the hotel for us. We also spent a few nights in Vegas. We have free stays through reward points, so we only paid $88 total for 5 nights there. We stayed at a few campgrounds, $22 in Sequoia, $44 in Monterey, $78 in Lassen. Banff was only $6, and overnight parking in Seattle was $9. Total for accommodations was a shockingly low $203.
The entertainment category includes tickets to Disney World, Made of the Mist, baseball games, and other fun stuff. A lot of you sent donations to help cover these expenses, and we are forever grateful for the things we got to experience thanks to you. Total entertainment cost, $739. Transportation is everything outside the Prius. The Metro in Chicago, the subway in New York, an Uber in Vegas, tolls in Indiana, and the taxes we booked with our flights on Southwest with points. Total transportation cost, $193. This is everything else. We needed new brakes for $400, windshield wipers for $22, an oil change, new shoes, new clothes, a computer charger, the U-Haul rental, laundry, everything else. Miscellaneous total, $1,069. 100 days, 14,000 miles, 17 states and provinces, we spent a total of $9,143.
Our budget was $82 a day, which means we were over by $943. However, with the amazing donations and gifts from you and some money we won gambling in Vegas, we actually came under budget for a total of $80.31 a day. I still can't believe it's possible to do everything we did in 100 days for $80 a day.
Would we do it again?
100%.
A million times over.
We're already thinking about where we would drive next summer if life lands us back in the USA and we find a Prius for sale.
It's so crazy because we started 100 days ago having no idea what we're doing with the turkey cutter in hand, but I would give this trip a solid 13 out of 10.
Totally. We've done a lot of crazy things in our life, but these last 100 days are some of my absolute favorites.
I just hope our journey inspires you to know that you don't need a ton of money to have some insane experiences. So, with $8,031 spent, we have $21,969 left and 265 days to spend it.
Where to next?
We've made it to JFK Airport, ready for our Norse Airways flight to London. Prius life is over. We are ready to become Europeans.
Let's go. New adventures.